We will start right away in that high kneeling position with a block. And you can place that block right in between those legs into a shin sit kneeling position. Sitting upright with those shoulders back and down, focusing on that right arm. Deep breath in as the hand passes the body, twisting, looking at that hand, reaching behind. Exhale as that hand comes out in front and comes down. Deep breath in, reaching, twisting a little bit further. Breathing out, forward and down. Last one, full range of motion, breathing in and out. Same arm, switching directions. Deep breath in, reaching out in front and overhead. And exhale, twisting away and coming down. Breathing in and out. Last one, deep breath in, full range of motion, and breathing out. Switching arms, deep breath in, twisting away, looking at that hand, reaching up as we exhale, forward and down. A little bit further, twisting, reaching, and breathing out. Last one in this direction. Switching directions, deep breath in, reaching up, twisting back as we exhale and come down. Breathing in, reaching a little bit further up and back. Breathing out. Last one, deep breath in, full range of motion, and exhale, facing forward. Moving on to our hands and knees, moving the block to the side, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips stacked over those knees. At your own pace, we've got ovals with the hips. So you go around to one side, forward over those wrists, around to the other side, and back, hips to heels. Same direction. Breathing deeply throughout each oval. Keeping the spine neutral as we perform these rotations, dynamically warming up the hips and stretching out those wrists as well. Switch directions. Last big oval, and then we'll meet in that child's pose, relaxing the head and the arms out in front. Fully relaxing that lower back. We've got 8 seconds left. Rising back onto our hands and knees. Tuck the toes, press up and push back into that first downward facing dog of the day, really pressing back with the palms, driving those shoulders down towards the ground. Feel free to slowly begin walking those feet, stepping from side to side, finding a deeper stretch in the calves and the hamstrings. Deep breath in. Exhale into a high plank hold from the tip toes. Deep breath in. Come down. Breathing out, untuck the toes, elbows under the shoulders, palms flat, head and chest up into that Sphinx pose. Breathing deeply, really thinking about driving those shoulders down and back. Relaxing in 3, 2, 1. Neutral spine, arms by our sides, turning your head to one side, fully relaxed. To really open up that rib cage and mobilize that middle back or that thoracic spine, we're going to take the block and place it out in front of us. And then with that left arm, we'll create an L. Reach out to the side, place the palm flat. Right hand underneath that right shoulder, bending the right knee, gently press away and twist. You'll also find a deep stretch in the bicep and the shoulder, tying into the pec. You can then place that block underneath the head to keep the head neutral and comfortable. Deep breaths here, trying to open up that rib cage. Slowly come out of that twisted position, moving the block out in front, returning prone. This time we'll reach out to the side with that right arm, plant the palm flat, left hand in that push-up position, bending that left knee, press away, twisting, and then again you can reset that block to support the head. Breathing deeply. Unravel back onto our stomach. Hands underneath those shoulders. Deep breath in. Moving to our exhale, press up, widen those knees, and press those hips to heels into that child's pose, relaxing the arms and head. Deep breaths, searching for that stretch in the lower back, loosening up those hips. Coming up from there back onto our hands and knees, tuck those toes, and then start to walk the hands towards the front of the knees. From here, you should feel a stretch on the toes and in the bottom of the feet. If you'd like, you can walk those hands up the legs to intensify that stretch, sitting upright. All right, we'll place those hands back in front of the knees. Squeeze those abs to bring those knees to chest, rocking further back, finding a stretch in the front of the shin and in those ankles. Floating the knees halfway down, gently engaging those abs to bring the knees back up. Slow and controlled. Finally, lowering those knees down towards the ground, come up into a high kneeling position, and with that right hand, we'll reach for the right heel, with the opposite hand reach overhead. Switching the half camel, we'll lower hips to heels, sway the arms, and reach now with that left hand to the left heel. And sway and switch. Last one, sway and switch. Some much needed hip extension, nice stretch over those obliques and rib cage. Finally, lowering hips to heels and walking back into that quadruped position. Keeping those toes tucked, press up, push back, downward facing dog. Keep those hips squared up and elevate the left leg as high and as straight as you can. Holding this three-legged dog for 3, 2, 1. Bring that left foot towards the top of the mat, replacing the left hand. Twist and reach. Lowering that left hand down towards the insole of the left foot. Swing that left leg back. High plank hold, deep breath in, come down, untuck the toes, exhale into upward facing dog. Three, 2, 1, and lower neutral spine, turning your head to one side, relaxing. Moving those hands underneath the shoulders, deep breath in. Exhale, kneeling push-up. Reaching forward with both hands, keeping those hips high, arch the back, drop the chest into that puppy pose. Deep breaths, finding a stretch in those lats and delts. Rising from there, back onto our hands and knees, tucking those toes, press up, push back, downward facing dog. Keeping those hips squared, we're gonna raise that right leg as high and as straight as we can, three-legged dog hold. 3, 2, and 1. Step forward, replacing that right hand with the right foot, twist and reach, keeping that back leg straight. Lowering that right hand down towards the insole of that right foot, swinging that leg back into a high plank hold, piking, squeezing those abs, downward facing dog. Slowly walking those feet towards the hands, towards the top of the mat, into a bent knee forward fold, grabbing hold of those elbows, keeping the neck and arms fully loose and relaxed, gentle sway from side to side. Finding a nice stretch in the top of the hamstrings, shifting into the lower back. Release, fingertips touching the ground. Deep breath in. Moving to your exhale, slowly rising, hinging from the hips first, vertebrae by vertebrae, with the head last to rise. Using the full length of the mat, finding a wide stance. Deep breath in, reaching up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we'll side lunge down, reaching towards one foot, keeping the head and chest up, reaching towards the other foot, and then reaching back towards the sky. Deep breath in. Exhale, creating a circle with the eyes following the direction of your hands. Switching directions, breathing in at the top, breathing out, side lunge, around, and back up. Shimmy those feet just a little bit closer. Bend from the knees. Allow the knees to follow the direction of the toes, slightly angled. Resting those hands just on those quads. Pushing away with the head and chest up, feeling a deep stretch in the groin. We'll twist to one side, deepening that stretch in the groin. Switch. Pushing away, switch. Last, switch, push away. Facing forward. Release, hands at heart center, holding that wide stance squat. Swan dive, deep breath in, reaching up. Toes are facing forward. Exhale and fold. Keeping the legs straight the entire time, allow those fingertips to touch the ground. And then walk those fingertips to the right foot, deepening the stretch in the adductors and hamstrings. Walking those fingertips over to the left foot. Deep breaths here. Walking those fingertips between the legs, folding as much as possible. Shimmy those feet a little bit closer. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Head and chest come up into that sumo stance squat, reaching for the heels or the top of the feet. Three, 2, 1. Standing tall, walking towards the top of the mat. Deep breath in, bend from the knees, swan dive those arms, reaching up, looking at those hands. Exhale, cactus arms, squeeze the elbows behind, look down with the head. Breathing in, reaching up, looking at those hands. Exhale, look down with the head, cactus arms. Breathing in, reaching up as high as you can go. Exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades back, cactus arms. Deep breath in, reaching back up. Exhale, chair pose, hold. Deep breath in, interlock the fingers, reach as far as you can forward. Exhale, squeeze those elbows past the body, head and chest come up. Deep breath in, swan dive, reach up, looking at those hands. Exhale, chair pose, hold. Breathing in, interlock those fingers, reach as far as you can. Exhale, squeeze the elbows past the body. Breathing in, swan dive, reach up, standing tall, looking at those hands. Exhale, chair pose, hold. Breathing in, interlock and reach. Breathing out, squeeze the elbows past the body, head and chest come up. Deep breath in, swan dive, reach up, look at those hands. Exhale, bent knee forward, fold, relaxing those fingertips out in front of you. Placing that block long ways at the lowest setting, resting that left palm flat on the block with the right arm hanging next to it, straightening just that right leg, keep the left knee bent. From here, we'll pull, twist, and reach towards the sky, stacking hand over hand, feeling a deep stretch in that right hamstring, tying up into the low back and hip. Bent knee forward fold, fully relaxed. Switching sides so that right palm is flat on the block, left arm hangs next to it, straightening just that left leg, keeping the right knee bent. Pull, twist, and reach. Breathing deeply. Bent knee forward fold, fully relaxed. Deep breath in, upright lift, so flatten the back, resting the hands on the shins or the thighs. Exhale, fold and reach, keeping those legs straight. Deep breath in, flatten the back, upright lift. Exhale, fold and reach. Deep breath in, last one, upright lift. Exhale, fold, and reach. Bending those knees, gentle squat, placing the hands on the outside of the feet, stepping back into a high plank hold, squeezing those abs, piking up into a downward facing dog. Slowly lowering those knees down towards the ground, gently pressing the hips back to heels, walking those hands to the right side of your mat, relaxing your stomach on top of that right thigh, lowering the head as close to the ground as you can. Deep breaths, stretching out the lower back and hips. Rising and walking those fingertips over to that left leg. Again, relaxing that stomach over the thigh, lowering the head as far down as it will go. Really concentrating on that deep breath. Rising from here into a centered child's pose, relaxing the head and arms. Coming up, grabbing hold of that block, And we'll get onto our back in that supine position. Bending both knees, feet flat on the ground. Gently squeeze those lower abs so that the lower back is making contact with your mat. Then press up into a glute bridge hold. Grab hold of that block, place it at the lowest setting, perpendicular from your mat's direction, below the tailbone, and lower those hips comfortably on top. From here, bring those knees to chest and begin creating ovals with the kneecaps, down the middle and together, opening up, away. Switching directions. Knees to chest, straightening those legs, feet in the air, relaxing here to improve circulation of those legs and feet. Moving to the breath, breathing in, dorsiflex the toes. Breathing out, plantar flex the toes. Deep breath in, flex the toes towards the face. Exhale, point the toes towards the sky. Deep breath in, dorsiflex. Exhale, plantar flex. Last one, breathing in and out. Lowering that left knee to that same shoulder with interlocked fingers, grab below the knee and pull, holding that tension. Lowering that straight leg down towards your mat until the heel touches the ground. Stretching the psoas muscle, the front of that hip, breathing deeply. Releasing the left leg, allow it to straighten and meet the opposite leg. Have a very slight bend in the knees, allow the toes to fall to the sides, arms by your side, palms facing the sky. Deep breath into the nose and exhale through the mouth. Bending one knee at a time, feet flat on the ground. Gently press those hips up into a glute bridge hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower those hips back onto the block, adjusting if needed. Bring those knees to chest and straighten those legs, feet into the air. Ankle rotations away. And ankle rotations inward. Lowering that right knee to that same shoulder, interlock the fingers, grab below, pull, and lower that left leg down towards the mat. Deep breath, stretching out the front of that hip. Release that right leg, allow it to meet the left. Slight bend in those knees, opening up the hips, toes fall to the sides, arms by your sides, palms facing the sky. concentrating on that breath. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Bending both knees, feet flat on the ground, pressing those hips up, glute bridge hold, moving that block to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering those hips back down towards the ground, bringing those knees to chest, latching those hands below the knees, reaching further down, grabbing the shins or even the soles of the feet in that happy baby pose, finding a gentle rock from side to side. Hands at heart center, turning to one side, then gently pressing off the ground and coming into a seated cross-legged position. Thank you so much for joining me and my wife for our honeymoon yoga session in Costa Rica. God bless you. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.